And it's like in business, like everybody asks me all the time, like, how did you learn how to do all this on the spot? Like, as I go.
You failed your way there.
Exactly.
And that's what people don't understand.
Forward. You fail forward. Exactly.
And you have that book here.
Yeah.
I saw it outside. Fail Forward is a great book by John C. Maxwell. Yeah, that's important, man.
The man.
I love Maxwell. I've read a lot of his book for leadership.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the number one guy as far as faith-oriented guy.
Faith-oriented. And I've also read his books, and I've been to a lot of his events as well. Yeah. And I got invited to them, a lot of them, and I could have passed up on them, but I was like, I can't miss an event with Maxwell. I'm going to be there. And even if I had to put it on a credit card, people used to call me crazy because I used to invest a lot of money into like events and stuff like that in books. And like, yo, no, you're crazy. You're putting yourself in debt for all this stuff. I'm like,
but you were investing in yourself.
I was investing in myself.
And your future.
Like, in my future. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to pay that back one day, bro. Like, I'm not worried about that right now. I'll make the minimum payments on the car. Like, I need to invest into me. Yeah. You know, I'm the most important investment in my life. So I'm gonna read the books. Bro, I remember I used to go to events dressed in like jeans. Like if I was in the hood and I'm like, nah, bro, I need to go get some suits. I need to dress like I want to be
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. And I was broke at these events. Yeah. Broke as you could ever imagine, bro. But I was showing up in a nice suit. And now because I'm in a nice suit, bro, I'm getting compliments everywhere. I'm being addressed differently at the events. I'm attracting the right people because now I'm dressed the right way. So I invested into that. And that was something that was super important for me as well. Yeah. Like I was willing to invest back into myself, but because I believed that I was going to be that person one day, even though I wasn't there now, I knew that one day I would get there. So I was investing into the person that I was going to be in the future. And, you know, God willingly, you know, he allowed me to become that person and I was able to pay all that back and it worked out in my favor. But that it goes back into the belief. You had to believe, I'm sure you had to believe that you were going to be able to do all of this. If not, it would have never happened.
Yeah. That inner belief and also I say it like this: if you have faith in your life, like real true faith, then you know you have favor. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you're living truly with faith, then favor comes with that. So you should never worry. Right, yeah, I mean that's my favorite Bible verse. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. You have to always say like jump in the pool, no matter if there's water in there or not. Like you just have to believe that there's water. Just as long as just jump. Yeah. Keep trying. I mean,
and faith will be tested too. One of my favorite quotes is, "Your faith has to be tested to see if it could be trusted." You know, and I'm sure your faith has been tested a lot throughout the years to see if it could trust it. Exactly. So now you were trusted, and now look, boom, God blesses you with all these amazing things that you have today, and that's how it works.
So when you're giving your talks, your motivational speeches, like and you're in it, like you know. Like literally, like say 5 minutes in and everybody's staring at you. You got any tips for those moments? Because I know a lot of people struggle with public speaking. You know, like I've heard it all the time, and especially like when you're, you know, a lot of our coaches, they have to speak in front of 40, 50 people. Yeah, and you're doing it in front of thousands. Like, is there any tips?
Yeah, I mean, the number one fear in the world is public speaking. Yeah, so I know it's hard.
Has it always come natural to you? Do you feel like?
No. Okay. Funny story before I tell you that. Yeah. My first public speaking engagement kind of thing was in college. I took a public speaking course in college and I had a terrible first experience because the first day of class, we had to do a personal object speech. Basically, you had to go up there and you had to talk about a personal object of yours for 30 seconds. At the time, we had just left practice, so I brought my glove with me.
Okay.
So I go up in class in front of like 30 people, 40 people, and I'm shaking, bro. I'm shaking. My voice is trembling. I'm stuttering, and I have the worst first experience. Like I felt so embarrassed at the fact that I had just that experience. So I was naturally that traumatized me. Like every time I got in front of people, like I was so scared to speak. So like over the years, like I was always scared to put myself in front of people. And then when I joined the business, I realized that the people that were making the most money were the people in front of the room. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yo, if you want to make money, if you really want to do this business, you're going to have to overcome that fear that you have. And what I started to do when I started to get put in position to speak was I always had to meditate before. I started off meditating. I always had to do a meditation to calm myself down and see myself performing the speech successfully. Okay. Like that's how I started at first. I'm like, okay, I know you're going to do it. And I would visualize myself having a successful speech and I would catch myself like, yo, and even if you fail, just laugh it off. If you mess up a word, just laugh it off. So going back to the tips, one of the things that I do is whenever you're talking to people, you want to get them to engage. Engagement always helps a lot because For example, hey, if you guys had a great workout today, raise your hand. Or, you know, something that can get the audience to engage always helps because it gets you to slow down a little bit. Sometimes locking in with somebody specifically also helps as well. Like there's times when I'm speaking that I would just look at one person, and I'll just look at one person, and I'm able to like just forget about everybody else that's looking at me. And I just find this one person that I'm comfortable looking at, and it helps me like calm my nerves down and actually not focus too much on everybody else that's there. Just it almost makes it feel like it's just one-on-one conversation that you're having with the person while there's still 30, 40,
which
50
takes
people.
you back to your sports too.
Exactly.
Like,
you know,
because when you're pitching in front of thousands of people,
it's just me and the catcher.
All you're focused on is the catcher.
Yeah, exactly. So that helps me a lot. Another tip as well off the top that I could think of. Oh, sometimes I just look into the abyss. Sometimes there could be a lot of people there, but I'm not looking at anybody. I'm just staring into the dark almost in a way. Like I'm looking above your head almost in a way. Like, and
the lights hit you a certain way, and then you can kind of look beyond. I can kind of
look beyond the lights, and I'm just. But nowadays, because eventually you become so confident that you kind of play around with it. You know, you're just so confident up there. You're no longer nervous anymore. So those were tips that I did kind of like when I was coming up and I was learning my way. Now that I'm more confident, I've learned to just kind of flow with it. Also, pausing is very key, letting people receive the message after you say something powerful. Like earlier, I had one of those mic drop moments. Usually I'm on stage, I do that mic drop moment and I'll pause and I'll let everybody take it in like, sheesh, that was powerful. Yeah. You know, and it lets you kind of smart. Yeah. It lets you kind of like regain your breath also as well, and then come back, boom, and then, you know, kind of take it like that. So those are kind of some of the tips that is. Also, another tip is try not to move around too much. Okay. Because my mentor told me, he said, a moving message can't be relayed as powerful as if it's a message that stands still. So like a lot of people, when they talk, they move. They're always moving. And you can move, but when you're going to say something powerful, make sure that you're still. Stop. So like I'm saying something, and whenever I want to say something that I want them to really hear, I'm going to stop. Boom. And I'll receive the message. And then I'll go back to moving. I'll move. Boom. And it's almost like a strategy. Yeah. While also adding the engaging in there. Everybody say I if you're with me. I. You know, and so on and so forth. So you got to know how to kind of add.
Good pastors are good at that.
Yeah. They're great at that. You know, they're great. You know, Rich is great at it. You know, he makes people laugh. He gets people to engage. You know, he makes people pray together, all that stuff. So, you know, he's a great speaker.
He's one of the best. He's in my opinion, is one of the best communicators of our generation.
For sure. Yeah. I love Rich. I learned from Rich. I see how he, you know, gets everybody together and how he delivers the message. And you can see it, how he does everything as well, how he gets everybody to laugh. But when he wants to say something powerful, he gets them there. And when he does say something powerful, if you actually realize, he pauses as well. He lets people take it in. And All right, guys, let's get the call started. Super excited. Looking forward to this call. Let me move this over here. Let me get this set up for us. We are ready to go. Man, it's been a good morning so far. Grand Rising. Happy Tuesday, familia. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody is having a beautiful start to their morning. I know I am. I'm feeling really, really good about this Tuesday. Real quick, guys, describe in one word, how is everybody feeling on this beautiful Tuesday morning, March 25? How is everybody feeling? Let me know. Describe it in one word, because let me tell you guys, I am feeling on top of the world. I am feeling elevated. I am feeling grateful. I am blessed and highly favored. Everything works in my favor. I expect miracles. I get miracles. I am a money magnet and everything is flowing through me. Abundance is my birthright. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We got blessed. We got powerful, accomplished. I love that. Spectacular. I love that word. Abundant, looking sharp, bro. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. Wealthy, excited, elated. What's up, my brother Mike? Feel blessed. I love that. Strong, focused, and driven. Phenomenal. I love this for you guys, man. This makes me so happy. Flowing, high blessed vibrations. Dope, dope, dope. This is awesome. This is amazing, guys. I'm actually very excited for today's call, man. Another standing on the ground is... Amen. Let's go. That was powerful right there. I like that. What's good, brother? Better than amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome, guys. So we have a great training for us here today. I hope all of you guys are ready to take some notes. I'm going to be teaching you guys some powerful information today. Just some things that I've been learning a lot from as well on my own. I think a lot of what I teach on these calls, they have a lot to do with what I'm currently learning at the time as well. But I also like to mix it with a lot of the principles that God teaches as well, because I think it's important that a lot of the trainings that we do here, have a lot of great backing and reference that shows that everything that we're teaching goes back, years and years and years before we hear. And I say that with respect to whatever everybody believes in. I know that we have people here from different beliefs, but it just goes to show that even before we were here, even before our ancestors were here, these are basic principles that go back years before we were all here. And when you look at those things and you're able to teach from that perspective, you're able to realize that those basic principles that go back hundreds and thousands of years are still true today. And we can even apply them a lot better today than we ever had. So, I wanted to teach you guys how to step out and rise up. I wanted to teach you guys how to step up and rise up today, and how isolation and having bold faith can lead to elevation. Put a 3 in the chat box if you're ready to take your life to a whole nother level going into the second quarter of the year. All right, because as you guys know, this is the last couple of days of the first quarter of the year. That's it. The first 90 days of the year are basically done in the next couple of days. Yeah, bro. I actually, yes, I've had a couple people tell me that about Spotify. Yeah, we're actually working on that right now. They'll be back in the next couple of hours. We'll fix that. Don't worry about that. For anybody that had any problems with my podcast on Spotify, supposedly I was told that they were taken down. I think there's maybe something that needs to be fixed or a payment that needs to be updated. I just got to check on that, but it'll be back soon. So I want to make sure that I teach you guys this because I think it's important. Now, at the time, right now, I'm currently reading the book of Matthew in the Bible, and I'm learning all about, I'm reading for the first time how, God and Jesus walked on water and how he fed all the people and all this stuff. And it's been a great read for me. I actually texted my leaders on the side and I'm like, yo, this book is absolutely amazing. And it brought a lot of ideas to me here. And I wanted to give you guys a couple of points and just some ideas that I learned here today on the 5 ways that you can step out and rise up. And I'm also going to relate it a lot to what I've been learning recently while reading the Bible. That's going to give you guys a lot of, perspective, and it's going to help you change the way that you look at things, because I think it's key that we all understand this, because if you really want to have the best year of your life, you got to listen to this training here today, because I'm going to give you guys 5 key points that are going to help you guys step out and rise up this year going into the second quarter of the year. Right, guys? So let's get started right with this training because I am very excited. Let's talk about point number 1, which I think is super key. Right. Point number 1 says isolation prepares you for the impossible. Isolation prepares you for the impossible. Now, I know everybody has heard the story of how when Jesus walked on water, right? Put a 1 in the chat box if you've ever heard the story. You've heard it, you've read it, you've studied it. Who has put it? Let me know in the chat box. Who knows about that, right? I had always heard about it. I had always gone to church and I always heard about it. But for the first time, I actually read it today. Yesterday was the first time I actually read it in the Bible, right? So some of us have heard it, not studied it, right? So for me, I literally, if you would have asked me this a week ago, I would have been like, yo, I've just heard about it. I haven't studied it yet. I've actually seen it as well. I don't know if you guys have heard of the show, The Chosen. It's a show on Amazon all about his life. And, I've actually seen the visual of it as well. But basically, here's the purpose of it. And I want to show this to you guys. A lot of people don't know this though, but before God went and walked on the water, he separated himself to pray and recharge. If you guys read the story in the word, when you're reading the Bible, before he goes and saves his disciples when they're on the lake about to drown, he was spending time with himself. Okay. Now, here's the purpose of this right here, really quick. Even God spent time in isolation. Remember, isolation prepares you for the impossible. So it's very important that we see this and we understand that we need to be spending times with ourselves every day. Because if even God takes the time to spend time with himself in prayer, in meditation, and doing the things that are required to recharge himself so that he can be able to pour into others, then why are we not doing that? Why aren't we spending time each and every single day with ourselves? You see, this is something that's very important for all of us to understand. And when I saw that, it made me grateful that I've been spending time with me. It made me so grateful because I'm like, wow, Nano, like you've been doing this already. You've been taking the time to spend time with yourself before you go and help your leaders, before you go and help your mentees, before you go and pour into people that are on this call right now. You see, before I came on this call, I was spending time with myself. I was reading, I was journaling, I was meditating, I was spending time with Nano. So why do I say that for everybody that's on this call? And I wanted to start it with this because I want to remind you that you need to be spending time with yourself, not because Nano said it, because this is what God did himself. You have to fill up your cup before you pour into others. And this is so key because I saw this and I'm like, wow, this is, let me see right here. I'm just trying to find something right here. Listen to this. This is straight from the Bible, right here. It said, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone. You see that? So while everything was happening, he let everybody go. He separated himself from his people, from his friends, family, disciples, and he went up to the mountainside in a place where he could spend time alone. Now, how does that relate with us on this call? That means that we need to be doing the same. We need to be doing the same. It makes me think back to the days when I was living back in Washington Heights, New York City, in the hood, and I would wake up early in the morning at 5 in the morning. And because I lived with my parents and I lived with my little brother, what I would do is I would wake up at 5 in the morning and I would get ready and I would walk to the park by myself. There was a park a couple of blocks away, and I would walk to the park by myself to spend time with myself in prayer, meditation, reading, journaling, writing my goals down, working out, spending time with me because I didn't want to be around the distractions. I didn't want to hear noises. I didn't want to hear my mom's TV on. I didn't want to hear my father coming into my room and checking his closet, my little brother on his phone. I didn't need any distractions. I needed time spent in isolation. And right now, believe it or not, guys, in the world that we live in, it is so hard to spend time in isolation because there's so many distractions. We have our phones, we have our iPads, we have TVs, we have friends, we got family. And then it's even harder because the people around us are not on the same type of time. Our friends are not on the same type of time. Sometimes not even our girlfriends, our boyfriends, the people that we spend time with are not even on the same type of time. So whenever you want to go and spend time with yourself, can we all agree that sometimes it's a little bit difficult? Put a 2 in the chat box if it's been difficult for you to spend some time alone. It's difficult. I can tell you guys right now, it's even difficult for me nowadays. All right? Because we have so many things happening around us. There's so much stuff happening. We have social media. We got friends. We got families. Some of us got kids. I know even I got a lot of respect for my parents out there that, you know, you have kids and your kids are up early and so on and so forth. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard for you to be like, man, I was talking to one of my friends the other day and she's a mom. And she's like, Nano, literally from the moment I wake up, my whole life revolves around my kids. Like, I don't have time for myself. Like, I wake up and I got to get my kid and feed him and this and that. And it's like all day. And then they go to sleep and I'm just exhausted and I just want to watch TV and so on and so forth. And I just want to, relax and chill. And I'm like, I get you. And I understand that. But here's what we ended up having to figure out. I told her, I'm like, yo, look, what time does the baby wake up? She's like 7:30. I'm like, so you're going to have to make a sacrifice and wake up earlier. How about you wake up at 6 and spend that hour and a half at least that you have before he wakes up with yourself? She's like, but I gotta sleep, Nano. I'm like, I know. But do you know that if you don't change, nothing is gonna change? Like, if you don't spend time with yourself, how is anything ever gonna change? You're gonna have to sacrifice, which means you're gonna have to go to sleep earlier. If you want to spend time with you just told me that when the moment you wake up at 7:30 is all about your kids. It's all about them for the rest of the day, and you don't have no time. So then wake up earlier. Wake up an hour and a half earlier, get up at 6 and do the work that you want to do there. You could get a workout in right there at the house so that you don't have to leave your kid. You could read your book. You could read your Bible. You could do your meditation. You could pour into yourself. And it's going to make it better for you once your kids wake up. Guess what? She started doing it. Dude, she hits me up all the time now. Yo, this was the best decision I ever made. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nano. Like, I feel like she looks forward now to wait for her kid to wake up because her cup is full. She looks forward now to building her business because her cup is full. She looks forward to the vision and what she's going to create for her kids and her family now because her cup is full. She's taking time to pour into herself. And the problem is some of us are not spending enough time in isolation. Remember what I said. Point one is isolation prepares you for the what? Who's been taking notes? Here's how I know who was taking notes. Isolation prepares you for the what? Where my note takers at? For the impossible. My boy Zion taking notes. I love that about you, bro. I love that about you. Alex is in here with me. 3 Racks is in here. These are my note takers. The ones that are taking notes. Maurice, I see you. Danielle, I see you. T, I see you. Eroji, I see you. It prepares you for the impossible. Think about it. For a mom, it may be impossible for you to think about like, yo, I got to wake up and deal with the baby all day. You may think it's impossible, but look, the isolation prepared her for that. You may think it's impossible for you to build a business, work a job and build a business and do this. It's not impossible. It's just you're not spending enough time with yourself. A lot of people will always make the excuses. Nano, you don't know how hard it is, bro, to work a job and do this and do that. I don't. I really don't. I'm one of the small exceptions that I've never had to work a job. So I can tell you that I don't. But guess what? I've mentored hundreds of people that work jobs, and I can tell you that the isolation that they spent with themselves has prepared them for the impossible. And that's the key. You gotta spend time with yourself, guys. And I know that this is something that I say many times. You guys have probably heard me say this a million times. But I gotta remind you because I know right now we have over 130 people on today's call. I know that every single one of us on this call is not spending time with ourselves every day consistently. Maybe some are, some aren't. But I know right now, if I was to go one by one and ask you guys, hey, are you spending time in isolation intentionally every single day? I know a lot of you guys will tell me, you know what, Nano, to be real, nah. I know it. You don't even got to tell me. My intuition tells me that a lot of you are not spending the time in isolation. And that's why things are harder for you than they are, because you're not spending time with you. Your cup is empty. You don't have no faith. You don't have no belief in yourself. You need to spend time with you. Does the gym count? Yes, but to an extent, because in the gym, you're kind of just working out the body. I'm talking more mind and spirit. You need the gym though, because it's part of the body, but I'm talking about more time with you, mind, body, spirit. Like if you could get all three aligned in the morning, that's the key. So number one is isolation prepares you for the impossible. Number two, step out of the boat because bold faith leads to breakthroughs. Number two, step out the boat because bold faith leads to breakthroughs. All right. In the story, the guy Peter, he didn't experience a miracle until he stepped out of the boat. Often what happens is our breakthroughs require us to leave our comfort zone and what's familiar. Too many of us are in our comfort zones. Too many of us are way too comfortable where we are. Remember, in the story, Peter didn't experience the miracle until he stepped out of the boat. He didn't. He didn't know what was possible until he stepped out. He didn't know he could walk on water until he stepped out of the boat. You don't know what you're capable of because you've been stuck in your own bubble, in your own comfort zone. I remember when I used to, guys, let me tell you something. Believe it or not, mornings with Nano was something that I used to fear. I wasn't good at public speaking. I used to fear the idea of speaking in public, speaking to people. I used to be scared of my accent. What are people going to say? This and this and that. And I didn't know what I was capable of until I stepped out of my comfort zone and I started the call. And look at the miracles that were on the other side of me doing this. Look at everything that God has blessed me with ever since I decided to step out of the boat. There's currently things right now in your life that you're scared to take action on that are basically holding you back. Like if you don't step out of that boat and take action on those things, that's where your miracles are right there. There's miracles right now in your life waiting for you, knocking on the door. Yo, let me in. Let me in. I want to be a part of your life. I want to bless your life. But because you're stuck in your comfort zone, you're waking up at the same time every day. You're doing the same things every day. You're just doing what's required. You're just doing enough of what it is. You're not receiving the miracle and the blessings that God already has for you because you're stuck in your comfort zone. You're scared to post on social media. You're scared to put your face on camera. You're scared to go to that event. You're scared to take that trip. You're scared to make that investment. You're scared. And you will never know until you go and step out of that comfort zone. You're scared to promote your business. One of the biggest blessings that I ever had was when I stepped out and I was like, you know what? I don't care what nobody else says about my business. I'm going to promote my business. I don't care what nobody has to say about my accent. I'm going to start this morning call. I don't care what nobody has to say. I'm going to start talking to people about my business everywhere I go. I'm not scared anymore. And my biggest blessings were always on the other side of the things that I was scared to do. I'm telling you guys, this is how you, if you really want, remember the name of the training today is Step Out and Rise Up. We got to step out of the boat. We got to step out of the boat. You got to go into the deep waters and take faith-driven action. This is what it's all about right here, guys. I'm telling you, you guys got to start taking the actions that most people are not willing to take. The faith-driven action, the bold risk that nobody's willing to take the risk on. I remember I always tell people the story about me investing back into myself, going to the events, investing into suits, investing into the things that I believed was going to help me become better. And here's the thing that everybody needs to do on this call. I need you to identify what's the one boat that you need to step out of. Whether it's fear, whether it's procrastination, whether it's self-doubt. What is that one boat you got to step out of? What's holding you back? What's something that is in your head at all times and you're like, man, because you know what the thing is? We know what we got to do. We know deep down inside in our intuition, it's probably a daily thought that we have. Yo, I know what I need to do. But sometimes we don't do it. Sometimes it's just we sit there and we're just like, we let another day pass. And days turns into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years. How many of us have been stuck for a couple of months, a couple of years in the same place, living in the same location, making the same amount of money? Let's all remember, guys, we all got to start being real with each other. Okay, this is not a, hey, let me pat you on the back, everything is going to be okay type of moment. It's for us to be honest and truthful with each other and being like, yo, Nano, Claudia, Ross, Daniel, Luz, Mike, Alex, Zion, Teresa, all of us, we got to sit there and we got to look at each other and be like, yo, are we really where we want to be at, or do we know we can do more? Put a 5 in the chat box if you believe that you could be doing more. If you believe that you deserve more. If you believe that you could be doing so much more. You could be earning so much more. But the thing is, we're stuck where we're at. We're not stepping out. We haven't stepped out into the water yet. We don't have faith. We haven't believed yet, right? Here it is. Here it is. In the Bible, listen, I'm gonna take us back to the Bible because I want you guys to see this. Look, he says, but Jesus immediately said to them, take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid. He said, Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on the water. Jesus said, come. Then Peter got down out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. You got to step out. We got to be like Peter. Yo, God told us come. He said come. What are you afraid of? Fear of failure? For what? So what if we fail? Fear of criticism? So what if they talk bad about us? Regardless, look, if you're doing good, they're going to talk about you. And if you're doing bad, they're going to talk about you. I'd rather them talk about me for doing good, right? Would you guys agree with me? If you're doing bad, they're going to talk. And if you're doing good, they're going to talk. I'd rather them talk about me because I'm doing good, not because I'm doing bad. Because if I'm doing bad, then, whatever. They're going to talk regardless. They're going to criticize you regardless. So that's what you're scared about? Let that go. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of whatever it is, whatever the fear is, let it go. Have trust, have faith. Okay, have faith, because here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. Too many of us, we're scared to step out because we're scared of leaving some people behind. I had to leave people behind. We're scared of what other people are going to think. So what other people are going to think? You know what I've learned? Most people don't think. If I would have still been worried about, I remember when I used to be so scared to post, to talk about my business, to show what I was doing. I remember being so scared. And then you know what I realized? I'm like, yo, those people don't even care, because still to this day, they're still doing the exact same things that they were doing back years ago. You got to keep this in mind, guys. And remember, don't listen to me. It's in the word. The word says it. The word literally says it. It literally said, yo, come through. Because this is why I love this Bible that I have, because it explains it on a deeper level. Listen to what it says in the Bible when it explains the verse in a more explainable way. He says, Jesus walked on the water and then empowered Peter through faith to do the same. Life is never without its occasional storms. However, when we trust God, we, like Peter, can receive God's power to make it through the storm. As long as we hold on to our faith and keep our eyes on God, we will be able to overcome all the storms of life. It is when we focus on the troubled waters around us and forget God's assistance that we start to sink. If we want to make continued progress, we need to keep our eyes and our faith in God. You need to keep your eyes and your faith in God, fam. What are you scared of? Build that business. Promote yourself on social media. Take that risk. Invest into yourself. Do what's required. Take massive action. Lock in with yourself. Say, you know what, Nano, you're right. The first 90 days of the year for me were okay. I could have done better. But the next 9 months of the year, I'm going to give it everything that I got. I'm going to take blind faith. Blind faith. Literally, I'm going to just go all in. I'm going to build my business. I'm going to go to that event. I'm going to invest into myself. I'm going to promote myself. I'm going to do whatever it takes with blind faith and just have trust. Because then it's going to lead to point number 3 that I'm talking about. Here's the thing with us. You got to keep your eyes on the vision, not the storm. You see, in the story, Peter started sinking when he focused on the wind and the waves instead of Jesus, instead of God. In life, storms, which are challenges, the negativity, the doubts, the fears, they're all going to come. But if you stay focused on the vision and if you stay focused and have faith, you will stay afloat, fam. You see, right now, and I know this because I've been Peter who started sinking when I was focused on the storms around me. I've been Peter. I started sinking because I was focused on the challenges, my money challenges, my business challenges, my family challenges, the negativity around me from my friends, from my family, from my significant other. I remember being Peter. I remember being him. I'm like, yo, we could, as a matter of fact, if you could relate with Peter, put a 3 if you could relate with Peter in a way, in some type of way, shape, or form, right? Who's been Peter where, you know, you started sinking because you were focused on the winds and the waves instead of focusing on God, instead of having faith. You let the problems get the best of you. I've been there before. I can say that right here on this call. I've been there before. I've been the person that didn't keep my eyes on the vision. Instead, I kept my eyes on the storm. I was focused on the storm. No, guys, keep your eyes on the vision. Keep your eyes on God. Have trust. That's why today I live my life. Yo, I swear, I was saying this to somebody the other day. I'm like, yo, I live my life so at peace nowadays because I'm like, yo, everything is going to work out for me. Even the things that I don't feel, even the things that may look like they're not going to work out for me, they still work out for me. Even when people doubt it, that's it. Even when I'm seen in times of challenges, it's all going to work out. I just got to keep my faith. You just got to keep your faith. You got to believe that it's all going to work out regardless of what's happening. Even if it seems like it's not, it is, because you got to believe it. I know that every step that I take is guided. I know that every person that joins my life is there for a purpose and for a lesson or whatever it is that God wants from me. I know that every challenge I'm going through is there to make me better. So I don't take things personal anymore. I live my life so at peace with everything. So at peace. I know not to rush the process. I'm not in a rush to get there. God, take your time. I'm on your time. I'm good. I'm not in a rush. Why am I in a rush? No rush. God, take your time with me. You need me to develop myself in these areas. You need me to be right here and there. Blah, 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 blah. I'm here. I'm not here to rush anything. You need me to learn this lesson. I'm here to learn this lesson. You need me to do this. I'm gonna do this. Okay. I need to wait 3 months, 6 months, a year. I'm gonna wait the 6 months, a year. I'm not in a rush. Oh, you're challenging me in this area? Perfect. What's the lesson I gotta learn here? I'm not complaining about the challenge. I'm not complaining about the challenge. I'm looking for the lesson in the challenge. Okay, God, you're challenging me here. Perfect. Why? Okay, let me fix it. Good. That's it. On to the next challenge. Okay, let me fix it. On to the next challenge. I'm at peace. I'm at peace with God's journey for me. I don't stress. I don't worry. I don't fear. You know why? Because I know God got me. I want you guys to live the exact same way. I want you to live like if God got you. You need to know and you need to have the faith. And you know why? Why I have that peace and that faith and that tranquility that I feel every day? Because I've seen him do so much work in my life already that I'm like, there's no way that it's not just going to continue. Because God provides, God protects, God loves. So I live my life like that. I live my life with this peace and this tranquility. And sometimes people look at me like I'm crazy, or they think I'm too chill about everything. And I'm just like, bro, I just know that God got me, bro. I just know that God got me, bro, to be real. Like, I really hope that everybody that's on this call feels what I feel on a day-to-day basis, bro. Knowing that it's a knowing, it's a certainty. It's a certainty when you know that God got you, bro. That you know that you don't got to worry about nothing. He's there for you, bro. He's walking with you every step of the way. My eyes is on the vision, not the storm. Never. And I get it if some of you guys been focused on the storm, because I've been that guy. I've been the guy that let the storms get the best of me. And I've been the guy that has been there and let the challenges and the obstacles of life, and I know we all go through different things, bro. I'm not talking down on what you're going through, sis, or what you're going through, bro. Promise you, I know I'm not, because trust me, myself, I've gone through some tough times myself, and I know that it's hard to see on the other side when you're going through it, when times are hard and it's dark outside, and you're in a place where you don't even know if you're going to be able to see the other side. I know what that's like. So I'm not talking down on it. Okay, but what I'm saying is, if you keep working on you, eventually you'll realize that everything that happens in your life is happening for you. It's not happening to you. Everything has a purpose. Every single thing in your life. And if you start to live your life like you know that everything is happening for you and it's happening for a purpose, I'm telling you, you'll start to live your life more at peace. And the more you overcome these challenges, you'll start to realize, like, yo, every time I've overcame a challenge, there was always a rainbow on the other side. Every time it's rained, there was always something better on the other side, right? Real quick, let me know in the chat box. Put a 1 in the chat box if you've ever gone through a challenge and then at the end of that challenge, there was something beautiful waiting on the other side. Has that ever happened to you guys? Right? Where you went through a tough time, you went through a challenge, and at the time you couldn't understand it. At the time, it didn't make sense. At the time, you were like, yo, why me? Why am I going through this hard ass time in my life? And then guess what happens? On the other side of it, you end up realizing, like, yo, sheesh, look, it was God the whole time. His Wise and Chosen said so many. So exactly. So Wise and Chosen said so many. Who else can relate to Wise and Chosen? Can we all say so many as well? Right? So many. So then why do we stress? Why do we worry? Why do we get sad and all these things when we know that on the other side of all these things that are happening, God is always providing? Why? That's what I started to tell myself. I'm like, man, no, every time you've been challenged, every time God did challenge you in a specific area, there was always a bigger purpose on the other side, and there was always something better on the other side. So then why don't you just focus on staying happy, having faith, being at peace, being tranquil with yourself, and just letting God do this work? Let God do his work. You know what the problem is? Too many of us are not letting God do his work, and we're not trusting. So we're sinking. We sink. We sink into our own problems. We sink into our own problems because we have little faith. We have little faith. And he says it in the story. He says it in the story. Let me see. Where is it? Look right here. Then Peter got down on the boat, walked on the water, came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. And you know what he said to him? He said, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" That's what God is saying to all of us on this call. You of little faith, why are you doubting it, man? Why are you doubting it? Why are you doubting it? Why are you focused on the storms and the challenges and the obstacles and the criticism and this and that? That's why you're sinking. This is why you're sinking. You have little faith. You have little faith. And you know why you have little faith? Because you're not spending time with yourself. The people that have little faith are the people that aren't working on them. You're not working on you. You're not taking the time for yourself. So because you don't believe in yourself, how are you going to believe in a higher power? How? How is that possible? You spend no time with you. How are you going to believe in anything else? It's the reality. The reason why I have so much faith is because I work so much on me. And because I work so much on me, I know that there is a higher power because I spend my mornings reading. I spend my mornings in meditation. I spend my mornings doing the work on Nano. So because of that, it's easy for me to believe. It's easy for me to have trust. It's easy for me to have faith. It's easy for me to understand that everything that's happening in my life is happening for me. I need you to understand that. I need you to have the conviction and the trust that I have, that God has given me. But none of it would have been possible if I didn't spend time in isolation. If I didn't spend time working on me. If I didn't do what was required. But I also stepped out. I stepped out of the boat. And don't get me wrong, I've been Peter. I've been the one who's raised up my hand and said, Lord, save me, because I was too focused on the storms. But you know what I've also done? I've stepped out of the water and I've had full faith and I've walked towards God without looking to left, without looking right. Right now, if God was to tell me, yo, Nano, walk towards me, I'll walk on that water like nothing. Ready to go. I'll be walking on the water. Put me in that boat again. Let's go back in time and put me in the water right now. He'll be saying, you know what he'll say? You know what he'll say to Nano? He'll say, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been trusted with a few. Here's more. You're a man of a lot of faith. Boom. Because I believe, I got trust. I have faith. But none of that would have been possible if it wasn't for the challenges that I've overcame. So none of it would have been possible if it wasn't for all these challenges that I've had to overcome over the years. So everything that's happening in your life right now, let me tell you right now, it's all preparation. It's all preparation. It's okay if you failed a couple of times. It's okay if you're scared. It's okay if you don't have faith, if you don't have trust, if you haven't been working on yourself. All of that is okay because I've been there before. But what you need to do now is you got to change it. So that's number 3. Keep your eyes on the vision, not the storm. Number 4 is faith over fear. Faith over fear. What do I mean by that? Well, think about it. When Peter began to sink, the first thing he did is he cried out to the Lord. The Lord immediately reached out to him and lifted him up. What does that remind us? That even when we fail, even when we fall, God is there to catch us. So keep your faith. Even if you fall, even if you fail, even if things don't work out for you, even if that business fails, even if that person doesn't join your business, even if whatever it is, God is always going to be there. God is always going to be there for you, bro. Never doubt it. We have too much doubt. We have too much fear. We live in this world where we've allowed the people around us, people that spend no time with themselves, to put their own fears and doubts on us. People that don't read the word, people that haven't read a book in 3 years, 5 years. They haven't read a book since high school, telling us what to do with our lives, making fun of us for wanting to be better. We let these people around us confuse us. Guys, what are we doing? Put the faith in God, put the faith in you, and everything else will take care of itself. Be the example. One day people are going to look at me and be like, sheesh, bro, look at what God did for Nano. I want him to do the same for me. I'm just here to be the example, bro. I'm going to be the example because I'm chosen. Put a 1 if you believe that you're chosen, because I know I'm chosen. And if you're on this call today, over 150 people on the call today, all 150 of us listening to this call, you were chosen to listen to this message today. Because you could have chose not to jump on the live. You could have chose not to jump on this call today. You could have been distracted. You could have been scrolling on social media, but you were chosen because God needed you to hear that you're chosen as well and that you need to have more faith. You need to have more faith because some of you on this call is Peter, right? Is what he said to Peter. He said, he said, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus reached out his hand and called him and said, you of little faith, why did you doubt? You guys may have little faith right now. You're not believing. You're not trusting. Maybe this is why you needed to hear this message today. I prayed on this and I said, yo, God, just speak through me today. I'm just here to deliver the message. Who needed to hear this? Who needed to hear this message today? Put me in the chat box if this message was meant for you. If you're like, yo, Nano, me. Well, I'm going to put a me in there too because these messages be as much for me as they are for you. So trust me. They're not only for you guys. Trust me. I'm not just sitting in the corner thinking about you guys. I'm like, yo, what do I need too? Right? I needed this too. I needed this too. Right? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to us. I'm included in this message. Need to have more faith, fam. So that's number 4. And then last but not least, number 5, because I got to ride out of here. Elevation comes after the storm. Elevation comes after the storm. All right? Think about it. After Jesus and Peter climbed back into the boat, the storm stopped, and the disciples' faith in everything deepened. Challenges, what they often do is they strengthen us and prepare us for a greater elevation. You know what happens for us now? Whatever storm you've gone through, whatever storm you're going to go through, because remember, we're either one of 3 people. Remember this. You're either one of 3 people. You're either going through the storm, number 1. 2, you just got out of a storm. Or 3, you're going to deal with a storm at some point in the future. There's no, you're either one of those 3 people. You're either 1, going through the storm right now. 2, you just got out of the storm. Or 3, you're going to face a storm in the future. We're either one of those 3 people. Okay? There's no way around it. Nobody is exempt from that. You're either going through a storm, you're either going through a storm, you just got out of a storm, or you're going to face a storm. That's the name of the game. And some storms will be bigger than others. Some will be small. Some will be short. Some will be little. It's all part of life. Okay? It's all part of life. And think about this, right? And then, look, and then when they climbed back into the boat and the wind died down, then those who were in the boat worshiped him, saying, you truly are the Son of God. They were like, yo, this is real. This is real. He really is that guy. You really are the Son of God. They elevated their faith. Their faith increased. Their faith went up. They started to believe. They were like, yo, you really are that. You really are him. You really are him. Well, guess what? God created us in his image. So you are him too, bro. And you are her, sis. You just haven't realized it yet. You have little faith in yourself yet. That's the thing. You are him. You are her. Have faith in you, fam. I'm telling you, it's already there. It's already done. It's already finished. Why are you so scared? Why? Go get what's already yours. It's already yours. It's already been designed and put in place for us. Why be scared? Why have little faith? Have trust, have faith, have belief. Trust me. Everything, like I said, everything is happening for us. It's all happening for us. That's what it says. Elevation comes after the storm. Jesus and Peter climbed back into the boat. The storm stopped and the disciples' faith is deepened. What ends up happening is the challenges often strengthen us and prepare us for greater elevation. That's the reason why I'm in the position that I'm in today. Not because of me, because God challenged me all these years. And he was strengthening me. He was making me better. He was molding me. He was challenging me. He was testing me to see if he could trust me. And if I could go back, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change nothing. I wouldn't change anything because it was all for a greater purpose. It was all for a greater purpose, familia. And our problem is that we get stuck in what's happening, that we forget that it's all happening for us. Go be bold. Go take the risk. Go invest into that business. Stop being scared. Spend time in isolation. Look for the blessings and the challenges. And spend the rest of your year having faith and trust that everything is going to work out for you. And it will. I have faith and trust that everything is going to work out for me. And you need to live the exact same way. Because if things are not working out for you, it's because you have little faith. And you're sinking instead of keeping your eye on the vision. You have your eye on the storm. All you talk about is the storm. When you talk to your friends, when you talk to your family, when you talk to your team, when you talk to people, all you're talking about is the freaking storm. Let the storm be. The storm is there to make you better. Keep your eyes and your faith on the Lord. Spend time in isolation with yourself and with him. Work on you deep in. And then step out of the boat and trust. Step out of the boat and trust. And I'm telling you, you're going to be able to step out and rise up. And that's the key. So if you're ready to rise up, can we all type rise up in the chat box? Because those are the 5 points that I wanted to teach you guys today so that you can step up and rise up. So if you're ready to rise up, type rise up in the chat box. One more time, the 5 points were: number 1, isolation prepares you for the impossible. Spend time with yourself every single day. Number 2, step out of the boat. Bold faith leads to breakthroughs. Step out of the boat. Get out of your comfort zone. Spend time, doing the things that make you uncomfortable. Number 3, keep your eyes on the vision, not the storm. The vision is God. The vision is your business. The vision is what it is that you want to work out, right? Number 4 is faith over fear. All right, keep your faith regardless of what's happening. And then number 5, elevation comes after the storm. Know that whatever storm you're in, whatever storm you're going to go through, or whatever storm you just got out of, is there to elevate you to another level. And I'm telling you guys right now, everybody on this call, this will be, for my 150 plus people on the call today, this is the best year of our lives. But the only ones that are going to receive it are the ones who have the faith to believe that it's actually meant for them. And that is the truth. If you actually believe that this is the best year of your life and that you deserve it, and you have faith that it's going to all work out for you, then this will be the best year of your life. If you lack faith, if you don't trust, and if you don't believe, then you will sink the same way Peter sank. And if it is what it is, God will be there to pick you up, and you'll have to try it again. And that's the name of the game, because I've had years where I failed, I had no faith, and God just had to pick me up, and we had to try again. I want you to be the one that has faith and you walk on the water the same way Peter did. And I want you not to be the one that sinks during the storm. I want you to be the one that walks all the way to him and give him all his glory and all his praise. All right, guys. So with that being said, put some 333s in the chat box. That is my training for today. I hope you guys got a lot of value from today. That was honestly low key. Now that I'm done, that was one of my favorite trainings I've done, for real, for real. I prepared for this training. Like, I sat down and I prepared for it, and it feels good. I feel like I'm back now. God basically took the wheel. That wasn't even me talking, for real, for real. That was him. That was really him. Share this with somebody, because I know right now there's a lot of people that need to hear this message today. Trust me. I know that for a fact. All right, guys. So I appreciate you guys so much for hopping on today's morning call. It was one of my most powerful calls that I've done. I mean, every call feels like it's the most powerful one that I've done, but this one was powerful because, you know, it was covered by God's message and his words in here, and everything was him just basically speaking to us. And this was a powerful message. So I hope you guys got a lot of value. Share this with somebody. Like this video if you haven't. Leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. And as you guys know, at the end of every call, I just do a little prayer for everybody just to send you guys home with some good stuff. And soul shifting today. Facts. That's what it felt like. I felt like my soul shifted today as well. But guys, I'll do a little prayer for us and then we'll wrap it up right there. Quick little prayer. Let's wrap it up. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Tuesday morning. We feel so amazing today because the message was absolutely powerful. We understand now how important it is for us to have faith over fear. And we're going to step out of the boat and we're going to walk and we're going to trust that every single challenge, every single storm that we go through is there to help us become better. We're going to spend more time with you. We're going to spend more time with ourselves. We are committed more than ever to building the kingdom and keeping you closer, God. So thank you so much for giving us clarity. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for the challenges in our life that are here to make us better. Thank you, thank you, thank you for it all, God. We are so blessed and so grateful to have you in our corner. Thank you for holding our hands through this process and being patient with us. We are committed to you. We are committed to the kingdom, and we're going to keep doing whatever it takes to keep growing and being the example. We love you so much. We're going to go out there and have a great, productive day, and we're going to give you all the praise and all the glory. In God's name we pray. Amen. 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 Beautiful call all the way through to the prayer. It was just an amazing day. It's going to be an amazing day. And I just know that God got us. And real quick, you know, can we just say real quick in the chat, God got me, real quick in the chat? Because I want to know that you guys actually believe it. Can we type that in the chat box after we typed it? Amen. God got me, man. And I want